Today marks the 2-year anniversary of the October 7th attack, the deadliest terror attack in Israel's history. Private ceremonies are taking place across the country, but the official remembrance ceremony won't take place until the 16th of the month, delayed because of the Jewish holiday, the Feast of Tabernacles. Ellen Gainsford told us more.
Sirens sound in Tel Aviv as people gather in Hostage Square to remember the dead on the anniversary of the deadliest terror attack in Israel's history. There's a newfound sense of hope as a finalized deal appears closer than ever.
Today, on the 7th of October, 2 years later, we have an opportunity. We are standing here with great hope, but also great fear. We support everyone who advances this opportunity and who helps end this suffering.
In Kfar Aza, in southern Israel, there was a minute of silence. The kibbutz was one of the hardest hit communities during the attack. The ceremony began at 6:29 a.m. local time, marking the moment when Hamas launched rockets into Israel, the start of the October 7th attack 2 years ago. At least 62 residents of the kibbutz were killed and 19 taken hostage. At the site of the Nova Music Festival, panels with photos of the 370, mainly young people who lost their lives here, have been installed.
I was here at the Nova Festival. We came 10 people and came back 7. 3 of our beloved friends fortunately died here. Sean Davidashvili, Evgeny Postel, and Lior Tkach. 3 of our friends.
Official commemoration ceremonies won't take place until the 16th of October, after the Jewish holiday, Simchat Torah.
Now, one of the hostages who was killed in captivity by Hamas was Carmel Gat. The occupational therapist was kidnapped from her parents' home on October 7, 2023. She was then killed by Hamas in 2024 after surviving horrifying conditions in captivity for close to a year. Her body was retrieved along with 5 others by the Israeli army in a tunnel in southern Gaza. Carmel's cousin, Gil Dickmann, has been one of the most vocal fighters for the hostages' release. He joins me now live from Tel Aviv. Gil, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today on such a somber day for you and your family. Here we are 2 years after your cousin was taken. Her mother, your aunt, was killed on that day as well. How are you commemorating this day today?
Well, you saw it for yourself in the video that you showed before. It was my sister actually speaking in a square in Tel Aviv, speaking about the hostages that are still there. The most important thing after 2 years of this horrible war is not the suffering that we've been through during these 2 years. It's not the fact that we lost Kinneret, although we lost her. It's not the fact that even that we lost Carmel after 328 days in captivity. It's the fact that 48 hostages are still in captivity. And think about that. After suffering October 7th, they were kidnapped, and then for 2 years, this horrible massacre is ongoing for them. It's just long-lasting for 2 years right now, and so we are focused on putting the issue of the hostages center stage and making sure this horrible war ends before it is too late for more hostages, like it was too late for our beloved Carmel.
Gil, what are you and the other families and friends of the hostages doing to keep the pressure up on the Israeli government?
Well, for the last few months, we had an assembly of tents right in front of the house of Prime Minister Netanyahu, and we urged him to put an end to this. We're coming to the Israeli parliament, to the Knesset, to speak to our elected officials, to try to make sure that the issue of the hostages is not off the table, because we know once that they managed to make the Israeli public forget about the hostages, it's over. And they might stay there for eternity or even die or be lost in captivity. We understood that for a very long time, it was the decision of the Israeli government to prolong the war and not to finish it in order to get the hostages back. But right now, after what happened last week, the meeting with Donald Trump and the 20-point plan to end the war, it looks like finally we're coming towards an end to this horrible nightmare. Not because Netanyahu decided that he wanted to end the war, but because Trump said so. And so in Trump, we trust. We understand that Trump wants to end this war. This is what we want. This is what most of the people of Israel want and what most of the people of Gaza want. If Hamas and Netanyahu want to carry on fighting, don't do it on our expense. Just end this war, get the hostages home, and stop innocent people from dying on both sides of the border.
Do you think Donald Trump is really capable of keeping the pressure on Benjamin Netanyahu, who has been so resistant, some would say, to ending this war over the past 2 years? Do you think Trump really is the key to make things change?
I believe Trump is the one who wrote the book, The Art of the Deal. He's the master of deals, and he's the most powerful person in the world. And so if he decides that it is time to end this, I think he's the right person to do so. And for a very long time, President Biden tried to convince Netanyahu and to put pressure on him. Netanyahu decided that he is fooling Biden or trying to fool Biden, that he's saying that he wants to end this war but actually prolonging it. He tried to do the same to Donald Trump, but we warned Donald Trump and said, don't let Netanyahu fool you like he fooled President Biden. It looks like now President Trump understands this, and he decided that he wants to promote peace in the Middle East. I believe when this when this deal is finally signed, he definitely deserves a Nobel Peace Prize for getting the hostages back and for ending this war. Just make it happen. And he's the only person who can do that.
Gil, what about Hamas? Do you think that Hamas is capable of sticking with this peace plan? Can you trust them after all you and your family have been through?
It's very hard for us to trust Hamas, as you can probably understand. I saw with my own eyes my Aunt Kinneret being dragged and led by Hamas inside Kibbutz Be'eri, and then just shooting her, executing her, because they didn't have anything else to do with the human hostages that they took. And after 328 days, it was Hamas people who murdered my cousin Carmel Gat. So I consider Hamas to be a terror organization that is filled with murderers. But the only choice we have is to get them to the table, to sign a deal, and then to make sure they follow through. They are going to try whatever they can to make the suffering longer. They don't care whether people on their side of the border, the people of Gaza, where they're killed or not. It is good news for them when innocent people die on either side of the border. But we have no other choice. The extremists on the Israeli side and on the Palestinian side cannot control the lives of the many people who want this to end, who want the war to finally be over, and who want people to come back home. We have to do it by signing a deal between the two parties, between the two sides, Israel and Hamas. And then we will have to rebuild in many, many ways the relationship between the Israelis and the Palestinians in the area, because nobody's going nowhere. We're going nowhere as Israelis. We're staying here. That's our home. And the Palestinians are going nowhere.
Gil, thank you for that. That's Gil Dickmann speaking to me live there from Tel Aviv. Thank you.
Thank you very much.